There is a man who scrolls through his phone every morning before getting out of bed. Not the news, not emails, his neighbor's Instagram, new car last month, Cabo the month before that. Kitchen renovation going up right now, posted in real time, tile by tile, and every morning before his feet hit the floor, he has already decided he is behind. He is not behind. He is actually, by almost every meaningful financial measure, doing remarkably well. But the feeling of being behind is so persistent, so specific, so attached to the faces of actual people he knows, that no spreadsheet has ever been able to fully dislodge it. Here is the thing about that neighbor. The car is financed over 72 months. The vacation went on a credit card that has been carrying a balance for 14 months. The kitchen renovation was pulled from a home equity line of credit at a rate that would make a financial advisor wince. The posts look like wealth. The balance sheet tells a completely different story. My name is Zik, and today I want to show you 4 signs that you are actually doing well with money, genuinely, mathematically, meaningfully well, even when the feeling of falling behind shows up uninvited every time you open your phone. Because the gap between looking wealthy and being wealthy has never been wider, and knowing which side of that gap you are actually on matters more than almost anything else in personal finance. Before the 4 signs, I want to give you one number that reframes everything. 56%. That is the percentage of Americans who, according to Federal Reserve research, could not cover a $400 emergency expense from their savings without borrowing or selling something. Not $4,000, $400. More than half the country is one flat tire away from a financial decision they are not prepared to make. Hold that number in mind as we go through these 4 signs, because what qualifies as doing well is not the Instagram version of wealth. It is not the neighbor's kitchen. It is the specific, quiet, compounding behaviors that separate the people who are genuinely building something from the people who are staging the appearance of it. The first sign is one that most people underestimate entirely because it does not look like anything from the outside. You have an emergency fund, not a vague intention to save more, not a credit card you could theoretically use if something went wrong, an actual, accessible, liquid cash cushion sitting in a savings account that exists for no other purpose than to absorb the unexpected without destroying everything else you are building. The conventional target is 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, essentially meaning the baseline rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, minimum debt payments, not your full lifestyle, the number you could live on if you had to. For most households, that is somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000. An amount that sounds large when you are working toward it and feels almost invisible once it exists because its value is not in what it earns, it is in what it prevents. Here is the math that most people never run on an emergency fund. When an unexpected expense hits and you do not have cash, you typically put it on a credit card. The average credit card interest rate is now above 22% annually. A $2,000 car repair carried on a credit card for 12 months costs you over $400 in interest alone on top of the original repair. A job loss without a cash cushion forces you to take the first offer you receive rather than the right one, potentially locking you into a lower income trajectory for years. The emergency fund does not just prevent financial damage, it preserves your negotiating power, your patience, and your ability to make decisions from a position of strength rather than desperation. That calm, the ability to breathe when things go sideways, is one of the most undervalued assets in personal finance. If you have it, even partially, you are ahead of more than half the country. That is not a consolation prize. That is a genuinely meaningful financial fact. The second sign is one that sounds simple, but is behaviorally one of the hardest things most people ever do with money. You pay yourself first, not whatever is left after the bills are paid. Not the amount you meant to save until something came up. A fixed percentage, 10, 15, 20. 25% that moves automatically from your paycheck to savings or investments before you ever see it in your spending account. The psychology behind why this works is well documented and worth understanding. When money lands in your checking account and stays there, it becomes available. Available money gets spent, not always on dramatic things. Usually on 100 small things you cannot fully account for at the end of the month: the extra dinner out, the impulse purchase, the subscription you forgot to cancel. Parkinson's law applied to personal finance. Spending expands to fill the account available to it. Automation removes the decision entirely. The money never arrives in the account where decisions get made, so the decision never occurs. Here is the compounding reality of this habit over time, expressed in the most concrete terms I can give you. A person who saves $250 per month starting at 25 years old, invested in a diversified index fund, earning an average of 8% annually, will have approximately $878,000 by 65. A person who waits until 35 to start the same habit ends up with approximately $375,000. The 10-year delay, 10 years of deciding to start next month, costs $500,000. Not because the late starter was less disciplined, because compound interest rewards time above everything else, and the habit of paying yourself first is what purchases time. If you are doing this, even imperfectly, even at a percentage that feels too small, you are doing something that the majority of people around you are not doing. That matters. If this is landing for you, take 2 seconds and hit the like button. It helps this content reach more people who need it. The third sign is the one that is hardest to maintain in a world that is specifically engineered to undermine it. You live below your means. Consistently. Not perfectly, but as a genuine, practiced habit. The reason this is hard is not lack of willpower. It is that the environment around you is built by people whose financial interests are served by your spending. Every algorithm, every advertisement, every piece of social content you consume is calibrated to make the next purchase feel reasonable, deserved, and overdue. The car you drive is not a transportation decision anymore. It is an identity statement. The kitchen renovation is not about cooking. It is about a version of yourself you are trying to inhabit. The vacation is not a rest. It is evidence for you and for everyone watching that you are living well. Naval Ravikant, the entrepreneur and investor, said something that cuts through all of this with unusual precision. Wealth, he observed, is a positive-sum game. When you build it, you are not taking it from anyone else, but status is zero-sum. For you to feel ahead, someone else has to feel behind. The status game is, by design, unwinnable, because its currency is relative, not absolute. You upgrade the car, and someone else upgrades theirs. The finish line moves with you. The people who quietly build real wealth have, in most cases, made peace with opting out of that game, not because they are ascetic or joyless, but because they made the calculation clearly enough to see what the status game actually costs. Every dollar spent on the appearance of wealth is a dollar not compounding toward actual wealth. And the gap between those two things, sustained over 20 years, is the difference between financial freedom and financial performance. The math on this is straightforward. The gap between what you earn and what you spend is the only number that determines how fast you build wealth. Not your income, not your investment returns, not your market timing. The gap, a household earning $80,000 and spending $65,000 is building wealth faster than a household earning $150,000 and spending $145,000 despite earning nearly half as much. The second household looks more successful from the outside. The first household is actually getting there. If you are tracking your spending, questioning subscriptions, choosing reliability over flash, cooking more than you order, you are in the first category. The quiet one, the one that actually works. The fourth sign is the one that requires a simple calculation and more emotional maturity than most people realize. Your net worth is trending upward. Not every month. Markets fall. Unexpected expenses happen. Some years are harder than others, but when you zoom out, when you look at where the number sat 12 months ago versus where it sits today, and again 12 months from now, the line moves upward over time. Net worth is the number that tells the truth when everything else is noise. It is total assets minus total liabilities. Everything you own minus everything you owe. And it is the only financial number that cannot be faked with a lease or a credit card. It reflects actual accumulation or the absence of it. There is a framework in financial independence circles called the 25 times rule. It emerges from the 4% safe withdrawal rate, the finding that a diversified portfolio can sustain annual withdrawals of 4% essentially indefinitely based on historical market performance. The implication is that once your investment portfolio equals 25 times your annual spending, your money can theoretically sustain your lifestyle without requiring you to work for it. For someone spending $40,000 a year, that number is $1 million. For someone spending $30,000, it is $750,000. The lower your spending, the closer the finish line. Every month your net worth increases, you have moved the finish line measurably closer. Even small movements matter more than they feel like they matter. A net worth that grows from $12,000 to $18,000 in a year is not a small thing. It is 50% growth. It is momentum. And momentum, sustained, is how ordinary incomes produce extraordinary outcomes over time. If you know your net worth number, if you track it even imperfectly, you are doing something most people never do. You are measuring the thing that actually matters instead of the things that merely look like they do. Let me give you the 4 actions that emerge from these 4 signs, framed as specifically as I can. This week, if you do not know your current net worth, calculate it. Add up what you own, savings, investments, property, equity, any assets of real value. Subtract what you owe: mortgage balance, car loans, credit card debt, student loans. The number that remains is your starting point. Write it down. Check it again in 30 days. The act of measuring it changes your relationship to it. This week, if you do not have an automatic savings transfer set up, set one up for an amount small enough that it does not destabilize your budget. $50, $100. The specific amount matters far less than the automation. Once the habit is mechanical, you can increase the amount. What you cannot easily do is recover the time lost by waiting until the amount feels large enough to bother. This month, audit every recurring charge on your bank and credit card statements, every subscription, every membership, every automatic renewal. Apply one filter. Did I actively use this in the last 30 days? If the answer is no, cancel it. The average person who does this exercise recovers between $80 and $150 per month in spending they had forgotten about. That is roughly $1,000 to $1,800 per year redirected toward actual wealth building, and starting today, not eventually, not when conditions feel right. Stop measuring your financial progress against the people around you. The neighbor's car, the colleague's vacation, the cousin's renovation. These are performances, not reality. Your only meaningful comparison is to where you were 12 months ago and where your trajectory suggests you will be 12 months from now. That is the only race with a finish line that actually means something. Let me bring you back to the man scrolling through Instagram before his feet hit the floor. Same man, different morning. This time, before he opens his phone, he checks his investment account. It went up $300 this month. Not dramatically, not in any way that would make a social media post, just $300 further along the trajectory than it was 30 days ago. His emergency fund has 4 months of expenses in it. His savings transfer happened automatically yesterday. His net worth is higher than it was a year ago. He drives a car he owns outright. He has no idea what his neighbor's mortgage balance is, but he has a clear picture of his own. And for the first time in a long time, before his feet hit the floor, he does not feel behind. He feels quietly, specifically, mathematically, like someone who is building something real. That feeling is available to you, not through a dramatic financial transformation or a 6-figure income or a lucky investment. Through 4 specific behaviors, practiced consistently, measured honestly, and protected from the noise of a world that profits from your belief that you are falling short. You are doing better than you think. The evidence is in the 4 signs. And if one or more of them is not yet true for you, now you have the map. If this channel is giving you the kind of grounded, honest perspective that actually moves the needle, consider subscribing. Every video here is built to do exactly this. Wealth Whispers. Start listening to yours. I'm Zik. I'll see you in the next one.